Welcome everybody to another Entrepreneur AMA. We're playing some League of Legends. We're answering your business questions.
Join the game.
I have to join the game. Wow, we got salt happening everywhere here. I'm watching the Twitch chat, and Trainer 6, our newest member of the team here, is spreading salt in Twitch, and J Rise, one of our oldest members here, is like yelling at me to join the game. Well,
I think it's
laughing.
Because of your comment about you don't need your friends.
Rishi was laughing at me in the gratitude stream this morning. So,
I don't know.
you guys, man,
It's not so
we need to press the reset button and have a great day. Anyway, now it's all jokes. It's all jokes. I know we're all in this to have a good time. So, Rishi, my co-host, welcome back.
Love it. TGIF. Cup of
TGIF.
love.
I like the TGIM in the chat. That was next level.
Mondays has become my new Friday.
I like it. What's in the cup today? What do we got?
We're continuing with our Spanish theme here. I've got another café con leche, and then today I'm feeling a cup of awake. I know you didn't get good sleep last night, Evan, but I'm feeling, it's weird. I feel like I'm really awake right now. So
All right.
I don't know.
I love it. Wow, I love it. I didn't say I wasn't awake. I just said that I didn't get a good sleep.
Oh, okay.
No, it's good. I'm feeling it. I like it. I'll have to channel some of that Rishi energy into my Teemo play today and see how we do. We got a streak going. Where's Zeno? We got a streak going, Zeno. Our 2-game streak.
I know. Where's Zeno in the chat? He's not there.
Yeah, well,
So his headphones aren't working.
we had a comeback yesterday. Trainer 6 and J Rise carried the early game, and I carried the late game. We made it happen. All right. Well, we're waiting for our game to start. While we do that, why don't we hit up some questions? What do we got?
Love it. Let's go. So first question today comes from Natalie.
Natalie.
Natalie says, Natalie is really wanting to learn English
Uh-huh.
and has for quite some time. And I know it may not be specifically an entrepreneur question, but she wanted to know, what you thought about how she can use the internet to learn English. And she said, internet only.
Got it.
So, interesting question. There are multiple channels on YouTube that are specifically for teaching people English. So, for sure, check those out. But it reminded me of when I was learning Spanish. My favorite way to learn Spanish was to watch the telenovelas. So, the Spanish soap operas.
I like it.
So, yeah, it was fun. It was like for me, it was fun to be able to watch Spanish, not in the context of necessarily like a classroom, but to hear actual conversational Spanish and have some drama of the storyline of the telenovela at the same time. So maybe you want to look if YouTube has some English TV shows and just watch some fun English TV shows.
Cup of drama.
Cup of what?
Cup of drama.
Yes.
Drama llama.
Oh, wow. It's Friday, Drama Llama. So, yeah, watch something. I think if you can learn English, conversational English is better than trying to go, just study these book texts. I think if you have a show that you really like to watch and it's in English, that's a great place to start.
Yeah, I agree. I think if you can do the thing that you naturally love doing, you'll get way better results than trying to force yourself to read textbooks. We're in the game, and I have jungle. J Rise has top, and Trainer 6 has bot lane. So get some Teemo jungle happening going on. Hopefully, this actually touches a personal chord for me because when my mom came to, I grew up learning English. I grew up in Canada. I was born here. but my mom wasn't. She was born in Italy, and when she came here, she learned English by watching TV shows. I don't know if they were soap operas, but they're at least TV shows. And why it strikes a personal chord is because there's been a number of people who have commented on my videos to say that they're learning English by watching my videos. And it just...
Yeah.
It's like a full circle moment knowing that, this is how my mom learned English, and now other people, like, I'm able to help the next generation of people who are trying to learn English. So I imagine, like, a young version of my mom coming over here and learning by watching a video. So yeah, it's pretty meaningful for me. I think back to the Tim Ferriss example where he was trying to learn Japanese, and he was reading textbooks, and it was just super boring and just memorizing, and he couldn't really get into it. And the way that he learned was by reading karate instructional manuals in Japanese. Because he loved karate, and he wanted to learn karate in Japanese, and so he would force himself to figure out what those characters meant because he wanted to learn the art of karate. And so, he loves karate. Rishi loves her dramas.
Roberto.
Exactly, right? The soap opera, the cheese, it's good. I actually had two sisters growing up, and I watched some soap operas in my day too. So the older sister controlling the remote control with one TV in the house. So I have a little bit of Young and Restless and Bold and Beautiful knowledge to dish out, but not the Spanish ones. So yeah, finding the thing that like what interests you. If you're on my channel, if you like entrepreneurship, that could be helpful to you. I speak normal English. I've what do I need to do? What are you talking?
I don't know, it's not streaming, and everyone says it's not streaming.
Oh, it's not streaming. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can't.
Yep, it's only audio right now, and it's a black screen.
Oh, I don't know. I'm seeing it in the well, whatever. Podcast version 2.
There we go.
Oh man, I really enjoy watching.
Oh, nice feedback.
Yeah, I don't know. It's all loading on my end. I don't know what the.
Can you start and stop OBS?
No, it'll stop the whole thing.
Oh, okay.
Oh well, whatever. Podcast it up. Adjust.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, my English is pretty solid. So if you're learning from me, I don't really make a ton of grammatical mistakes. Hopefully, at least. And my mom, her English is insane. Her English is better than
So good.
99% of people. Honestly, like she really spent the effort to get amazingly good at it. Lost any traces of an accent just by watching TV shows. So I think that's definitely a good start. I think I agree with Risha, there's a lot of YouTube channels too that break down English and give you a word of the day or how to use sentences, and there's some humor and fun in going into a lot of them now, so it's not just textbook boring. The new generation of people who are up on YouTube, those could be some fun videos, but I think the key thing is, like anything, you have to find a way to make it fun. You have to find a way to make it enjoyable. If you do that, you're much more likely to stick with it. Just like a workout routine or an exercise routine. If you hate swimming, but you love playing basketball with your friends, then just make it easy on yourself and go play basketball with your friends. Right? You're still getting a good workout. So whatever that applies to learning English, then I would take it up. The other thing I would look at for using the internet specifically is there are some sites where you can connect with a language buddy, where you can have conversations. So what language does this person speak, or do we know?
Yeah, she didn't mention where she's from.
Okay.
But she wants to.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, whatever. So, like, say it's Spanish. There are English-speaking native speakers who want to learn Spanish, And the idea is you get on a call once a week for an hour, and half an hour of it is in Spanish, and you help them, and half an hour is in English, and they help you. And being able to practice, I think, as well, can be really helpful with someone who's understanding, with someone who's learning too, and I think it makes you feel not so bad, because when you're talking to somebody and their Spanish sucks, and then you're going to talk to them, you don't feel so bad about your English being bad. So I would look up some of those language buddy websites and see if you can make some connections.
Yeah, it's not.
Awesome. And then we've got some people in the chat that have lost audio. It says offline for some people. On my end, it says idle. So I don't know if that is mean you're not even streaming anymore, but want to make sure.
Okay.
You could restart it.
Well, let's record it. We're going to put it on YouTube. All of this is still recording, and we'll put it up. It's just not happening on Twitch. That's fine.
Gotcha. I didn't know if it was also going to lose your audio or whatever.
Yeah, no, this should all be still good for YouTube.
Okay. Next question comes from Eugen.
Nugent?
And Eugen.
Eugen, okay.
Yeah. And Eugen is from Croatia.
All right.
And he wants help on his idea. He doesn't really go into the idea, but he says, we're living in a country where things like that are not possible to do. We don't have the requested knowledge to make the application. Oh, it's an app idea. Okay. So it's an app, but he doesn't go into what the actual app does. So he says, we're living in a country where it's not possible to do things like that. We don't have the knowledge to make the app, and we don't have the money to pay for the marketing and other stuff that comes with that sort of thing. He wants to share his app idea with you because I think he feels like there's no one in Croatia who's able to help or give him the knowledge he needs to kind of proceed with this idea. Okay, so respectfully.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. She's awake. It's Friday. Tough love is coming.
Respectfully, really, truly, and I mean this, what came to mind is this On Fire quote by Sir E.C. Evan Carmichael. And it says, we don't have the money, the connections, or the support, but we don't make excuses.
Did I say that?
You did say that. I love that. I love that. That's one of my retweeted Evan quotes. So, but I also say it with like so much love because, you know, I get how we all can fall into these mindsets of I'm disadvantaged because of X, Y, Z and I can't do it. But I really, it's so freeing when you find out that you are limitless and you are only limited by your own mindset. So what I really respect about Eugen is that he is trying to get somewhere with someone who he knows, which is you, Evan. And so I appreciate the effort. But I also think that it's so important to recognize that whether it's Croatia or anywhere else in the world, there have been people in every single place of the world that has been in, you know, considered in the eyes of whoever, you know, a place that you can't do this or you can't do that, and people have risen above that and made a way. So I think the real issue here is first got to be about his beliefs around why he can't do what he needs to do. And yeah, that's kind of what I want to share.
I love it. Yeah, I agree, man. Like, you have a computer, you have a phone, you can program. That's all you need. Like, you have what you need already to succeed. You just gotta start doing the work. If you don't know how to program, that might be a different issue, and you got to find someone to help you create it. And maybe it is a little tougher in Croatia, but maybe you don't limit yourself to just Croatia. Like, hang out in online communities so you can connect with. People have made partnerships and friendships and arrangements just being a part of Believe Nation. People who've done collaboration. I think of Rishi, and she's done collaborations with Jen and with Tamra, and I don't know, have you guys ever even met Rishi?
No, not in person.
Yeah, it's almost weird. I've never met Rishi in person either. And here we are doing a daily stream together. So you can be part of communities. The world is so much smaller now that you can get access and you can connect with the right people. You just got to figure out what it is that you need. What's the skill set? Do you need a programmer? Do you need the marketing person? Do you need, do you have the idea fully fleshed out? What do you need to get to where you need to go? And just stop blaming your country, man. Stop blaming the lack of resources you have. It will never help. You got to go out and start taking some action on it. And that, that sucks to hear, but also is empowering, because people have done things, built apps, built companies with less than you already have right now. You are fully capable of doing this if you just believe in yourself and start taking some action on it. And we all have these things that we say we can't do this because of whatever reason, and that's honestly, those limiting beliefs have always been what have held all of us back, have held me back. Every major breakthrough I've had has come from crushing one of my limiting beliefs, and so you just got to get to work. In terms of the marketing, app marketing is becoming less and less important. What you need to have is something that people will want to use every day. Will somebody open up your app and use it every day? If you have built that kind of product, you don't need any marketing. What was Snapchat's marketing budget when they were starting up? Probably zero or close to zero, right? And that's most apps. The ones that you may see on TV, Game of War or whatever, a lot of these guys don't start spending money on ads until they've already kind of hit most of the mainstream, and now they're trying to hit the bigger audience too. So you just need to build something that people want to use every day. That's it. You'll win. If people are watching you every single, just like my YouTube channel, just like most products now that have social built into them, like an app. For me, the answer to grow my channel, or Rishi to grow her channel, or any of you guys to grow your channels, is not how do I market it more, it's how do I make it something that people want to come back to every single day. If you do that, you win. And so you just need to design a crazy app that people want to use every day. I don't know what it's all about. And I'm not the right partner. I'm not in the app development game. I have enough going on with what I'm doing now that I don't want to be doing apps. I appreciate the reach out and the respect there, but if you have the technical skills, then just start coding, and if you don't, then you need to find that local or online person you can connect with to make it happen, and just start. No excuses, like Rishi said. How did you start that response, Rishi? I was geared up for something. For a war or something.
Oh, I said respectfully?
Respectfully. You know that something big is coming, because Rishi doesn't show disrespect, so there's something coming. I liked it.
It was like respected sir yesterday. Right?
Respected sir, yeah.
All right, great. Vinium is our next question.
All right, Vinium.
Yeah, and Vinium actually, in line with this app question, is a creator of an app called What's Hot.
What's Hot?
And What's Hot. He created it in his parents' house when he was attending University of Washington. And What's Hot is an app where you get the hottest news as soon as it happens. So it's kind of like a, you know, hot news app. Anyway, so he's wanting ideas on how to promote the app, and would be extremely helpful for him if you had any ideas on promotion. So I kind of think you just answered it in the last question. You may, Biniam, also want to check out episode 14 of this League of Legends stream, because we had several questions about app marketing and how to be more effective with your apps. And so you might want to check out episode 14 for sure, as well as there are many videos on Evan's channel. But I think, yeah, I mean, again, it comes back down to if your app is amazing, if your app is great, if you're more focused on creating an app that really is amazing, you get those small amount of people who just are super fans, and then they share it and share it and share it. I think I shared with one of the other callers or the other questions in episode 14 that I love it when an app has great customer service. Like if there's someone who's already been using What's Hot and they've been giving you feedback about it, you know, I would pay attention to the feedback that I'm getting and really listen to your users and see how you can improve upon anything that your current users are saying about What's Hot.
I like it. I agree. Yeah, I mean, we did cover this pretty recently. But, you know, the two things I would add to maybe a little more context. One would be, if I was doing any kind of outreach or marketing, the people that I would target would be influencers in the space. So someone who loves news, is a news junkie. Like, it's not me. I don't follow many news websites. I think most news is pretty negative and honestly not really relevant to what I'm doing. So I just typically ignore, like, you know, my parents, they watch the nightly news, 11 o'clock every night. They, you know, need to be in the know. That's not me. And so I wouldn't use your app. I don't care about that so much. I know a lot about a little bit. So, you know, you want to talk about entrepreneurship, you want to talk about salsa, you want to talk about League of Legends, you know, I know a lot about that stuff. Anything else? Forget it. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But you got to find, you know, those people who think that that's crazy, right? Like, you have to know and be on top of every latest trend, right? Those are the people who are going to love what you're doing. And reach out to them and show them the app that you have and see if there's an interest there. The app, though, has to work. It's got to be good, right? If you show me an app about entrepreneurship, I'm naturally interested because I want to help entrepreneurs and I'm always curious. But if it's no good, like, that's it. I'm not, it's super hard to get a second chance to say, hey, look at my app a second time because the first version was really crap. Well, like, well, thank you for wasting my time that first time around. You know, it's like it's hard to get that second chance. So it's did Victor leave? I think we're 4v5 here again. Our mid laner, one of our teammates, is gone. Oh no, he's back. Okay, I think he just maybe went to the bathroom or something. So what I would focus on is looking at the people that you have now, getting them to use it every single day. Like, how many people are on your app right now? And are they loading it on a consistent basis? Because people will share. If people love your thing, people are going to share constantly. So it's really just getting to that point where you have those 100 people, 50 people, 25 people, whatever it is, who love what you're doing and can't wait to tell everybody about it. And instead of focusing on getting new people in, which is I know is a temptation, focus on making sure that the people that you have are really happy.
Yeah, great.
That's it. I'm excited.
I'm excited too. So Michael is asking, Evan, I'm having a hard time believing in my dream, my dream of starting my own business. I want to step out and bet on myself, but I'm afraid. Any advice you could give me? Any potential videos of yours to watch? Cool.
Okay.
You feeling this one enough? Did you want to chime in first, or?
No, you go.
It sounded like-
I mean, I always have
Okay.
something to say, but I like the counter punching. Like I like the reacting. I like seeing what you have to say, and then I either, say something similar or don't. But I don't even know what I'm gonna say yet until you finish. So I'm excited.
Okay.
I'm waiting for the Rishi wisdom to drop here.
So, Michael, I guess I can just share that my story with starting Rishi Cup TV. I even though I have a lot of experience with like performing arts and doing things in front of people, for me, obviously YouTube channel, you have to share yourself regularly with people. And so even though I'd had a lot of experience with that sort of thing, Rishi Cup TV was like the first thing where I was doing my thing. Like I wasn't going to be kind of supporting someone else's dream. It was going to be my dream. And man, the fear I had prior to doing this was pretty significant. I mean, I remember there'd be nights, like I was preparing the launch, and like I'd never done YouTube before. There was a lot of things I'd never done before, and I was just like, I'd wake up sometimes in the middle of the night just like, what the heck? Like, this is just, I can't do this, and what if I do this and I completely, all these what ifs. And so one of the things that helped me with that fear was, what can I, once I do this, what's something I can do every day in the state of fear? The fear didn't go away, but what's something I can do every day where I can create momentum, but I'm also not taking such a huge leap that it's not sustainable. So like for me, that looked like putting out my very first video, believe it or not, was almost like a comedy video about fried chicken, which in hindsight is funny because like people would not have understood that, I don't think, at all. But like for me, it was my first video, and it was a video that I knew if I put it out there, I was going to enjoy it, but I also knew it was going to be sustainable because I wasn't taking this huge leap that would put me in a state of fear that would be paralyzing, if that makes sense. So I believe in doing steps that are small enough to get momentum, or big enough to get momentum, but small enough to not sabotage yourself, where you kind of freak yourself out even more, and then you like don't ever want to do it again. So take risk, but I think it should be calculated risk where you can get to a place where the fear is manageable. And then as you continue in your momentum, I think you get more confident. And yeah, so do it afraid, but also be kind of calculated, I think, about the risks that you take so you know you can continue in it.
Awesome. Well, my team is struggling a bit here. We have 16 deaths and 6 kills. I'm doing okay. I'm two kills and no deaths, but and an assist. But I've got to help out my team a little more here so we can turn this thing around. Listen, fear is normal. I've done a number of videos on fear. If you just go to my channel and search fear, you'll see a bunch of them. All of them I think are worth watching. Fear is normal. It's understanding that. I'm not the guy who gets up and says don't be afraid. I think that's wrong. I think you feel the fear and you do it anyway. I think that's much more approach that I kind of believe in and try to take myself. I think when you're like, I think fear is also a good sign. Like if you have no fear in your life, it means you're living your life so safe that you're not doing anything special. You're not really living up to your true potential. J-Raz is stressing out. What's going on there?
No, it's all good.
I hear a lot of deep breathing happening from the other side of the room here.
Breathing is good, man.
Breathing is good. Deep breathing is good too. So fear is good. Fear means that you're stepping outside your comfort zone. The things that help me with fear. Listen, I'm still afraid too. Like I'm not immune to fear. I'm not some like if I stop being afraid of stuff, then that's not great either. Even yesterday, I was doing an interview with Chase Jarvis, who's one of the best photographers in the world. Built this huge company around training, and I was a little nervous getting in, before that call, and it went well. Like it was an amazing interview. I had a lot of fun. He enjoyed it. The crowd that watched live enjoyed it, but I still had a little bit of butterflies before going in on the call. Wanted to make sure it was a good interview. So it's good. Like you need to have that in your life, I think. So in terms of combating that, the couple things that have helped. One is just finding a way to start smaller. Whatever it is that you want to do, there's a smaller way to do it. So look at your big idea, your big vision, and then just see, okay, I want to go from A to Z, but how do I start from A to B? Like what's the B step? If Z is the final, step, what's the B? What's like the smallest little thing that I can do? Because you know what, that small little thing, that's not so scary. That's not so scary. Like if you're afraid of getting married, going on one date, that's not so scary. The date's not so scary. The marriage might be scary, where you are now. But is that not a good analogy? Am I failing that analogy?
I just love that you always give her. I feel like we need to have a relationship segment on your channel, Evan, because you've always got great relationship advice.
Oh, well, just the idea of like trying to bring it to something non-business. And, hey, entrepreneurs, it's hard being an entrepreneur and maintaining relationships too. So yes, if you're afraid of that last big step, don't worry about making it some huge step. There's a smaller way to get started. Go and focus on that. That's where you'll have success, and it's not as big a fear to do that. And then you'll realize that most big initiatives are really just a accumulation of small initiatives added up. My team is hurting hard here. I got to figure out how I can help. We're 23 deaths, and 6 kills. 23 to 6 is getting a little out of control
going on over there?
Here. Yeah, I got to help out more somehow. I'm trying. J-Rai says it's over. I'm not happy. Not happy about that. I'm not happy about that.
That's okay.
They're doing the surrender.
Some games you lose, man.
Yep. Oh, they got to shut down. So that's the first thing, is making it smaller. Find a smaller version to get started. The other thing I would say is what's helped me push through fear is the bigger fear of regret. That whatever my fear of getting on stage or starting my company or making that phone call or whatever it is that you're afraid of doing right now, I try to look at my life. I try to look at my life, when I'm 100 years old, looking back, or maybe like 160, because we're gonna live that long, when I get there. I try to look out that far and think, will I regret not doing this? Like that idea that you have, will you regret that you didn't take a chance, that you were afraid? And if it's yes, then that often gives me the courage to go forward and to do it. So I don't know if that helps, but those two things I found super helpful, at least for me. And there's tons of videos again, so I'd encourage you to go on the channel and just search fear, and you'll find a whole bunch of videos that can be helpful to you.
You want to know something really fascinating?
I do. I like fascinating things.
Yeah, so I was watching, I believe this was one of your videos. Talking about fear, but Oprah was mentioning in an interview that during literally her entire career as the talk show host, that portion of her career, she said she literally never felt afraid of doing her shows. And then when she started her Oprah Winfrey Network, there was one morning or one middle of the night she woke up and she literally felt like she had this weight on her, and it was like she almost couldn't breathe, and she was like, well, what is this? And she said that what she heard in response was, this is fear. And so anyway, I thought it was interesting that she never felt fear. I mean, at least in the context of doing what it was that she was doing as a talk show host, she never felt fear. I just found that fascinating that someone can actually have that opposite experience of not being afraid, because I feel like that has never been my experience.
Yeah, and it's not normal either. And I wouldn't take that as the standard practice and look at that and then make. I think the danger in looking at that and looking at an outlier like that is then saying, "Oh well, she wasn't afraid. Why am I afraid? What's wrong with me?" Where you're actually normal, and it's okay to be afraid. But it's okay to be afraid, but then you still have to do it, right? It's feeling the fear and doing it. You still got to go out and do it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Don't blame the fear for not moving forward. Just
right.
like, our previous one about, I'm in Croatia, so I can't do it, right? There's always an excuse. There's always a reason why you can't do something. And the reasons are always logical and practical, and they just make sense. So that's why it's so easy to not chase your dream, to not do the thing that you should be doing. Uh-oh, I got cut out. Mm-hmm. Ooh, I'm out. Okay. So, yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Good luck.
Okay. Next question comes from Elodie. Elodie says she is a 24-year-old French woman. She lives in Ottawa, Canada.
All right,
and
Canada.
Yeah, shout out to Ant City. Well, that's Toronto, I guess, but I just like Canada.
I do too.
And she's addicted to your channel.
All right, thank you. Welcome.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yeah, and she said she watched the video the other day called Show Up.
Okay.
And it was the one that featured Farrah Gray.
Okay.
And in that video, you talked a lot about kind of one particular experience where you gave some entrepreneurs an opportunity. They all, you had spoken at a conference, and then of course after the conference, they were like, "We want you to mentor us. We want you to mentor us." And then
right.
you kind of put them through this process.
Right.
So she was inspired, and she really, really wants to take a step forward with your guidance, and so she's just wanting to, somehow get some additional mentoring and just kind of reaching out.
Okay. What does she need help with?
Well, she actually just is. She didn't really go into. Did she go into? I'm sorry. I want to make sure I don't think she went into too much detail with this one about what she wants to do. But I think she's just an aspiring entrepreneur, and yeah. I'm going to look into this, and I'm going to add some value, and then look to make sure she didn't get some more details. Yeah, I mean, I just told someone the other day that for me, one of the things that I just appreciate mentorship. I appreciate when anyone has the, this is just a way to honor you, Evan. You know, you are definitely someone that I consider right now as a mentor, and I appreciate when anyone who has, you know, basically a huge impact, doing a million things, and they have the sensitivity to give back to others in the process. And I see that you are always passionate about just making an impact. So for me, what I want to do always, where I'm in any kind of situation where I want to learn from someone else, I want to add value to their life. I want to be able to contribute to help their mission, what they're doing. And so for me, I just think in general, a lot of people can come into any relationship, whether it's mentoring, and kind of come with a, what can I get? And I think that one of the keys is always to think, well, what can I give? So that's just kind of my valuable, what I have found a valuable key in being able to receive from people that you really want to receive from. And again, you don't go into it with this mentality of like, I'm doing this so I can get something. Like, I think you've kind of already lost when you, any relationship should never be about how can I be in relationships so that I can get. Like, that just to me somehow is the wrong foot to start off on. But just start by being a human. And
I love it. Start by being a human. We got to quote that up.
Yeah, just like people are people. Like, people at the end of the day, just like be a human. And any, like, you know, I don't know. I guess I think that sometimes we just we can lose our minds when it comes to certain things. That's very vague. But I don't know. I hope that what I'm saying is coming across. Like when I came to Evan's channel, like I didn't come to Evan's channel with the intent of, can I eventually be this or that person? You know, it's like I really loved what Evan was doing. I believed in what he was doing. I was inspired by what he was doing, and it was easy for me to then want to somehow like be a part of. So anyway.
Yeah, so, you know, listen, I'm feeling the love. Thank you for the kind words. I'm glad you're obsessed. When I think about this, it's really tied into the last question about the big projects versus the little ones. When you ask somebody for mentorship, it implies a relationship, right? And there's not going to be, you know, people who will, without knowing you, just say, yes, I'm going to be your mentor, if they take mentorship seriously. And so your best bet is to build up that kind of relationship. So it's awesome that like there's a support and you know love the channel, and you know, I very much appreciate that. Bless you, J-Rise. I don't have smite. We're fighting here, all right. But what would have been a better start is really just to ask a question. Like, I feel bad that I can't help you because I don't know what your business is about, and I don't know what kind of guidance you need, and all I know is that you're looking for a mentor. So the only thing that can really help is how to better ask for a mentor. Because I think both of us are a little bit like, we're on this stream because we want to give value, we want to help all of you guys out, and we get frustrated when we can't.
Oh my god.
What's happening?
Baron.
Oh, J-Rise is in the middle of a big thing happening here.
Well,
Yeah. So that's our frustration. That's what we want to help you. We want to see you get better. We want to see your business grow. And if you, for the next time, and maybe come back, like ask us a question for the next episode that we'd be happy to answer. And then really it's, if you get something, little, you get one piece of advice, the most important thing when you're approaching somebody you want help is that you then take that advice and apply it. Because the worst feeling for a mentor is that you're not helping, like you're not taking action, you're not respecting their time. You know, if I take the time to answer a question and give you what I feel is a really good answer and what you may need, and then you don't go do anything with it, that's massively frustrating. And then I don't want you coming back again with the same question where you didn't take any action off the first one. So if you're reaching out to people and you're looking for help and you're thinking how can you get to where you need to go, I love it. I think reaching out is definitely a great idea. But in terms of the execution, we're getting destroyed here. In terms of the execution, just starting small, just finding something that you can do on a small scale, reach out with one question, recognize that you appreciate their time and their advice and that you'll take action off of whatever they give you. Whether that's with me or there's other people that you look up to that you're trying to get advice and wisdom from. And then if you want to maintain a relationship, you want to build it somewhere else, then come back in a week or a month or 2 months or 6 months or however long it takes you to actually take action. For all of these people that we're answering questions for, you want to ask another question, we're happy to answer, but we want to feel like you're taking action, you're ready to go to that next step. So that's my advice.
Yeah, and two, I just want to. I got back to the email just so I make sure I didn't miss anything, and yeah, just so there isn't information about what she wants to do specifically, but to her credit, I just want to say that in that video, I think it went specifically into, I think the process that you had explained in the case of the other mentorship request was that they had the first thing that you told them to do was send you an email. So I think she was kind of just following maybe what the video had shared about that other scenario. So I think I just feel I have a heart for this Elodie woman, sweet woman. I know she's really trying to do what she thinks would be the next step to show up. Another thing in that video was talking about going after opportunity with a vengeance. That was one of the things that Sarah Gray had said. It's like you got to show up, and so it sounds like she's hungry. She's trying to show up the way that
Sure.
I'm going to bat for Elodie. I want to. Yeah.
Good game. Well, we lost. GG.
Oh.
We'll see what the final stats are. And yes, and maybe that video was taken out of context because that video was not an open invitation to say, hey, anybody just send me an email and I want to help. It was at a specific event where I was asked to come in Toronto with the mayor of the city to mentor some young entrepreneurs, and I said that I would. And the people approached me afterwards. I said that I would, but they had to email me. And it was a specific ask to those people to say, hey,
right.
As a next step, you need to email me and follow up, not as a general call to action. But I mean, a lot of these questions that we're getting asked here are just some people emailing in. And I get tons of email, and I started this series because I wanted to be able to try to answer some of them and give back and add some value. So maybe adding a little bit of clarity around that too. So my team lost. We got stomped. We were 47 deaths, 16 kills. I went 7, 2, and 5. Had 7 kills, only 2 deaths, 5 assists.
Wow.
But it wasn't enough to help my team. Everybody else was having a hard time, and I didn't step up enough to save them soon enough. So we lose. Very sad, but I appreciate that we were able to help some entrepreneurs, and that's the win for the day. Well, we'll see when our next game comes up on Monday. Rishi, do you have final words setting people into the weekend for what they should be doing?
Yeah, just I guess I really was touched, Evan, by what you said about fear of regret. So whatever you're doing this weekend, keep that in mind. If you're dealing with fear, what would you rather have, that fear of doing it and just seeing what happens, or would you rather live by the fear of regret of not doing it? I thought that was really powerful.
I love it. Well, thank you guys for joining. Have an amazing day. Continue to believe, whatever your one word is. And we'll see you soon. This isn't on our Twitch channel, but it's going to YouTube. So I'm still glad we were able to get it saved, even though the result isn't great, but the content is good for entrepreneurs.
Awesome.
So that's it, guys. We'll see you soon. Have a great weekend.